Billions of tons are processed annually to bring us everything from paper to cardboard boxes. But can large-scale harvesting coexist with a healthy planet? In this video, we'll explore the world of a wood processing factory, specifically one owned by OG Paper, a company renowned for its focus on sustainability. Join us to see how billions of tons of wood transform into products we use every day, from cotton alternatives to moisturizing agents used in cosmetics. And all this while responsibly replanting to make sure our forests continue to thrive. OG Paper Company. Established in 1873 in Japan, OG Paper Company boasts a rich history spanning over 150 years. From humble beginnings, they've grown into a globally recognized leader with a presence across the world. OG Paper's reach extends far beyond Japan. Their operations are spread out in North America, Europe, and Asia. They own and manage a vast network of forests and plantations outside of Japan, spanning over 4 million acres across countries like Australia, Canada, and Brazil. They've even made significant investments in China, with a major project recently coming online. This global presence allows them to source materials, manufacture products, and distribute paper across a vast international market. The company is not only a leading paper manufacturer, but also the largest forestry company globally, with a revenue of $13 billion and a net income of $800 million. OG Paper leases over 4 million acres of forest land across countries including Australia, Canada, and Brazil, and employs over 36,000 workers across its 156 subsidiaries. But OG Paper isn't just about size. The company's commitment to sustainability is evident in its dedication to using high-quality materials and implementing responsible forest management practices. OG Paper is also a member of the International Sustainable Forestry Coalition, established in September, which aims to assist in the transition to a more sustainable society, focusing on sustainable land use, conservation and restoration of nature, renewable materials in a circular bioeconomy, and rural economic benefits. So how exactly does OG Paper manage to cut down billions of tons of wood into the paper? That's the question we'll be exploring throughout this video. Selecting the right wood for processing. The first step is picking the right wood, which is no small feat for a company like OG Paper. Rainforests and other sustainably managed forests are OG's treasure trove for crafting that high-quality paper we all use. But how exactly do they pick the perfect trees from these vast, green forests? Imagine a football team. You wouldn't just throw any random group of guys on the field, right? Each player has specific strength, speed, agility, power. Similarly, trees have unique fiber properties that make them ideal for different paper types. OG Paper knows this game well. They consider factors like fiber length. Think of these as the building blocks of paper. Long fibers, found in softwoods like pine, create strong papers like cardboard. Short fibers, found in hardwoods like birch, are perfect for smooth, high-quality printing paper. OG Paper picks the right players for the job. Strength. Just like some football players can tackle anything that moves, some wood fibers are naturally stronger. OG Paper uses this to their advantage, ensuring the final paper product can handle any rough treatment. And just like some teammates work better together, certain wood types work better with specific pulping methods used to break down the wood into paper pulp. OG Paper considers this compatibility, ensuring a smooth and efficient transition from tree to paper. We wouldn't expect a rookie quarterback to lead a team to victory, right? Similarly, OG Paper understands that tree age and maturity play a crucial role in paper quality. Here's what they consider. Imagine a perfectly ripe avocado. It's not too hard, not too mushy, just perfect. Trees are similar. OG Paper selects trees that have reached their optimal maturity for the desired paper quality. Younger trees might have weaker fibers, while older trees might have a higher concentration of lignin, a substance that makes pulping more difficult. OG Paper picks trees that are like the golden oldies of the forest, experienced and strong. Selecting trees at their peak not only ensures quality paper but also minimizes waste. younger or older trees might not be suitable for high-quality paper production, leading to unnecessary resource use. OG Paper is all about efficiency, and picking the right trees at the right time is key to that. OG Paper doesn't approach forest selection haphazardly. They have a dedicated team of experts working behind the scenes, much like coaches guiding a football team. Foresters play a crucial role, collaborating with the company to assess the overall health of the forest. These experts then recommend the best trees for harvest, considering factors like species, age, and how the removal will impact the ecosystem's delicate balance. This ensures a sustainable approach, maintaining a healthy forest for future harvests. Technology also plays a vital role in OG Paper's meticulous selection process. Gone are the days of simply wandering through the woods with an axe. Today, they utilize advanced tools like geographic positioning systems, GPS, for precise planning and execution during harvesting. This allows for pinpoint targeting of designated trees, minimizing disruption to the surrounding forest ecosystem. Imagine it as a precision strike in the world of tree selection, ensuring they take only what they need while leaving the rest of the forest healthy and thriving. In the past, they would clear out the entire forest, but thankfully, those days are long gone for OG Paper. They've adopted a much more sustainable approach called selective harvesting. OG Paper meticulously chooses specific trees for removal, considering factors like species, age, and location. This ensures a healthy balance remains in the forest, promoting biodiversity and natural regeneration. Think of it like keeping a strong team on the field, even after some players are subbed out. Unlike clear-cutting, which can devastate an ecosystem, selective harvesting minimizes disruption to the forest floor and surrounding trees. This meticulous selection process is the foundation for OG Paper's success. By considering species, fiber properties, tree age, and employing a team of experts with advanced technology, OG Paper ensures they're not just picking trees, they're selecting the perfect raw materials for their high-quality paper. The right wood selection sets the stage for exceptional paper. By choosing trees with the ideal fiber properties and harvested at peak maturity, OG Paper lays the groundwork for strong, durable, and functional paper products. Precision harvesting. We talked about OG Paper's meticulous selection process for finding the perfect trees. Now comes the exciting part, getting those trees out of the forest carefully. You need to take what you need while leaving the rest of the ecosystem healthy. That's exactly what OG Paper strives for with their modern harvesting techniques. Gone are the days of folks with just axes. OG Paper uses a whole arsenal of advanced equipment to ensure a smooth and precise operation. These tools include specialized harvesters and delimbers. Think of these as super efficient tree sculptors. Harvesters can expertly fell trees, while delimbers remove branches with pinpoint accuracy. Imagine a perfectly choreographed move, ensuring each tree is cut and prepared just right. Advanced cranes with smarts. OG Paper Company's newer facilities are equipped with the best equipment. Their cranes showcase OG Paper's commitment to cutting-edge technology. These cranes have special features like sway control and end positioning, basically built-in precision. This minimizes the risk of damaging nearby trees or injuring workers during extraction. It's like having a conductor with a steady hand, guiding the movement of massive logs with incredible accuracy. While specific details about GPS use haven't been confirmed, considering OG Paper's focus on sustainability, it's likely they leverage this technology. Imagine a detailed map of the forest. GPS helps OG Paper pinpoint the chosen trees and plan extraction routes that minimize disruption to the overall ecosystem. They can ensure they target the right trees while navigating the terrain with minimal impact. Imagine carefully moving furniture across a wooden floor you want to avoid any scratches or dents. OG Paper uses a similar approach. Their commitment to sustainable practices suggests they likely employ low-impact skidding techniques. These techniques ensure minimal disturbance to the soil and surrounding vegetation, promoting healthy forest regeneration for the future. Safety is paramount for OG Paper. They prioritize the well-being of their hardworking team who extract the trees. This focus on safety likely extends beyond the cranes, with comprehensive safety protocols and training programs in place. From proper use of equipment to protective gear and first aid procedures, they ensure their team is well equipped to handle any situation during the extraction process. Transporting timber. All right, we talked about how OG Paper uses high-tech trickery to harvest trees like a digital lumberjack. But how do they get those hefty logs from the forest to the factory? Imagine you need to move furniture across town. You wouldn't use a tiny smart car for your giant couch, right? OG Paper uses the same logic for their timber. They don't just have one way of hauling wood, they've got a whole fleet of transportation options, kind of like a multimodal taxi service for trees. This fancy term, multimodal, basically means they use a mix of different methods to get the job done. We're talking trucks, trains, boats. OG Paper picks the perfect transportation mode, or sometimes a combination of them, depending on where the trees are coming from, where they need to go, and how much wood there is to move. For shorter distances, especially when they're pulling timber out of the forest itself, OG Paper likely relies on good old-fashioned trucks. Think of them as the zippy delivery guys of the timber world. Trucks are flexible and can reach all sorts of nooks and crannies, which is perfect for navigating sometimes tricky forest roads. Now, if OG Paper needs to move a mountain of wood across a long distance, that's where the train tracks come in. Trains are the ultimate haulers of huge amounts. They can chug along with massive quantities of timber in a single trip, which is both cost-effective and eco-friendly. Imagine a long line of train cars, each one stacked high with logs. That's a serious timber train. Since OG Paper operates in coastal areas, they likely use another cool option: maritime transport. This means using barges and ships to move timber across water, both domestically and internationally. Think of it like a giant cruise ship, but instead of tourists, it's filled with vacationing logs. Maritime transport is actually a pretty fuel-efficient way to move a lot of stuff, which is another win for the environment. So why does all this fancy multimodal planning matter? It all boils down to efficiency and sustainability. By carefully picking the right transportation method or a combination of them, OG Paper keeps their costs down and reduces their environmental impact. Trucks might be fast for short trips, but trains are greener for long hauls. Boats are great for coastal areas, but not so good for getting deep into a forest. By having this kind of flexible transportation plan, OG Paper makes sure their timber travels efficiently and sustainably, which is a win-win for everyone. The logs get to the factory on time, and the planet stays happy and healthy, preparing logs for the pulping process. All right, we've seen how OG Paper uses a multi-talented transportation network to get their timber from forest to factory. But those logs aren't quite ready to be turned into paper just yet. They need a little prep work first, kind of like a spa day before a big transformation. The key step here is debarking, and it might sound as simple as just taking the bark off the log, but there's more to it than you might think. Imagine you're making a delicious chocolate cake. You wouldn't throw the whole cocoa bean pod in there, would you? You'd separate the yummy chocolate inside from the tough outer shell. Debarking for logs is kind of the same idea. The bark itself isn't great for making paper. It can make the final product weak and uneven. So OG Paper carefully removes the bark to ensure they're only using the good stuff, the clean wood fibers that make amazing paper. It's like separating the wheat from the chaff, or in this case, the wood from the bark. So how exactly does removing the bark make a difference in the final paper product? Here's the science bit. Bark contains different materials compared to the wood inside. These barky bits can be tough, gritty, and even contain unwanted chemicals. If they end up in the paper mix, they can make the paper weaker, less smooth, and even affect the color. So by removing the bark, OG Paper ensures they're only using the pure wood fibers, which results in strong, smooth, and consistent paper quality. Think of it like the difference between using whole coffee beans to brew and using finely ground coffee debarking is like grinding the wood down to the perfect consistency for amazing paper. OG Paper doesn't just grab a butter knife and peel the bark off their logs, although that would be pretty funny to watch. They use advanced debarking methods to get the job done efficiently and effectively. There are two main techniques they might use: mechanical and hydraulic. Mechanical debarking is kind of like a high-tech wood carving competition. Imagine a giant machine with spinning arms and tools that scrape and rub the bark off the logs. It's a precise and powerful way to get the job done. Hydraulic debarking uses the power of water pressure. Think of a super-powered car wash, but instead of spraying soap, it blasts water at high pressure to force the bark away from the wood. It's a clean and efficient way to debark logs. By using these advanced techniques, OG Paper ensures a smooth and thorough debarking process, which is the first step towards creating high-quality paper, transforming wood chips into pulp. Those clean wood chips are about to become the key ingredient in our paper-making recipe, pulp. This might sound like a simple process, but it's actually very fascinating if you think about it, and OG Paper uses a special blend of methods to get the job done. Imagine taking a delicious apple and turning it into applesauce. The pulping process is kind of similar. We take those wood chips and break them down into their tiniest bits, the individual wood fibers. These fibers are like the building blocks of paper, and OG Paper uses a combination of muscle and science to separate them. There are two main ways OG Paper can break down wood chips: mechanical and chemical pulping. Think of them as different tools in the paper-making toolbox. This method is all about brute force. OG Paper uses giant machines with grinding wheels or refiners that basically shred the wood chips into tiny fibers. It's a fast and efficient way to get pulp, but there's a catch: the fibers can be a bit rough and weak. This type of pulp is often used for things like newspapers or cardboard, where strength isn't the top priority. Imagine the difference between pulling an apple apart with your hands, which would be mechanical pulping, and blending it into a smooth puree, which would be chemical pulping. The mechanical method is quicker, but the result is a bit chunkier. The chemical method is like using a magic potion to break down the wood chips. OG Paper uses special chemicals like sodium hydroxide and sodium sulfide, which act like a gentle persuader, dissolving the glue that holds the wood fibers together. This leaves behind the pure, strong cellulose fibers that make top-notch paper. It's a slower process than mechanical pulping, but the result is a stronger, smoother pulp that's perfect for high-quality printing paper or even textiles. OG Paper isn't just about making great pulp, they're also committed to doing it in a way that's kind to the environment. That's why they're always looking for new, sustainable pulping methods. One way they're doing this is by developing something called dissolving pulp. This fancy pulp goes through an extra step where they remove even more wood components, leaving behind ultra-pure cellulose fibers. This super pulp can be used to make all sorts of cool things, like viscose rayon fabric, which is a fancy way of saying it can be used to make some very eco-friendly clothes. From pulp to products. Alright, we've seen how OG Paper turns wood chips into a magical pulp potion. But how does that gooey mixture become the smooth, crisp paper we all know and love? Imagine a machine the size of a football field with rollers, presses, and conveyor belts whizzing around. That's basically what OG Paper uses to turn their pulp into paper. These giant paper-making machines are the workhorses of the factory, capable of handling massive amounts of pulp and churning out paper at an impressive speed. They're like super-powered rolling pins that flatten and shape the pulp into giant sheets of paper. So how exactly do these paper-making giants work their magic? It all comes down to a three-step transformation process. First things first, the pulp is a bit too thick and gloopy to be turned into paper. So OG Paper adds water to the mix, kind of like thinning out pancake batter. This diluted pulp is then spread out evenly on a moving mesh screen. As the diluted pulp travels along the mesh screen, the water starts to drain away. The tiny wood fibers get caught on the screen, slowly forming a giant, wet web of paper. Imagine a giant sieve that strains out the water and leaves behind a thin layer of fibers, like a spider web made of wood. That web of paper is still pretty damp, and we all know soggy paper isn't very good for writing or drawing on. So the next step is to dry it out completely. OG Paper uses giant heated rollers to press out the remaining moisture and transform the wet web into a dry sheet of paper. Think of it like putting your wet laundry through a giant clothes dryer, but instead of clothes, it's a massive sheet of paper. The paper might also go through a process called calendaring to make the paper extra smooth and shiny. Think of running a hot iron over a wrinkled shirt. Calendaring is kind of similar. It uses heated rollers to smooth out the surface of the paper and give it a polished finish. This is especially important for high-quality printing paper or fancy photo paper. Once the paper is dried, sized, and if needed, calendared, it's almost ready for your desk or mailbox. OG Paper cuts the giant sheets of paper into specific sizes, depending on what they'll be used for: printer paper, notebooks, or maybe even wrapping paper. Then they wrap it all up neatly. But paper isn't the only thing OG Paper uses the pulp from its factories for. The company has developed a diverse range of innovative products that leverage the versatility of its wood-derived materials. OG Paper produces dissolving pulp, which is used to manufacture high-quality rayon textiles as an alternative to cotton. The company has also refined its pulp to the nanometer scale, creating cellulose nanofiber CNF that finds applications in concrete, automotive windows, and cosmetics. They also utilize cellulose from its own forests to produce biomass plastics, aiming to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by replacing fossil fuel-derived materials. The company further processes hemicellulose to create hydrolyzed silane, a moisturizing agent for cosmetic products, and plans to develop sulfated hemicellulose for medical applications. OG Paper has even established technology to manufacture furfural, a versatile chemical used in refining petroleum and lubricants, as well as potential bioplastic production. Sustainable forestry practices. Throughout the video, we've touched on OG Paper's dedication to sustainability through their innovative harvesting technologies and efficient transportation methods, but now we dive into the core of their environmental responsibility: sustainable forestry practices. There's a big concern out there about deforestation, which is when we cut down too many trees and don't plant new ones, or they don't plan their efforts meticulously enough so that they bear some fruit. OG Paper understands this worry, and that's why they actually own and manage a ton of forests, over 600,000 hectares to be exact. That's more than 2.5 Tokyos. They're like the tree guardians of the paper world. But just owning forests isn't enough. OG Paper is dedicated to sustainable forest management. Imagine it like a giant tree farm, where they plant trees, let them grow nice and tall, and then harvest them responsibly. It's all about balance, taking what they need without harming the forest in the long run. OG Paper doesn't go it alone in the fight for sustainable forestry. They team up with all sorts of forestry organizations and landowners. It's like a big green superhero team working together to protect the trees. They also use special programs like FSC-TM certification, which is kind of like a gold star for responsible forest management. This ensures the forests are looked after from all angles, environmentally, socially, and economically. One of the most important parts of sustainable forestry is replanting trees. OG Paper knows that for every tree they harvest, they need to plant a new one or even a few. This ensures the forest stays healthy and keeps absorbing that nasty carbon dioxide from the air. They've even set a goal to increase the amount of carbon their forests store by 2030. OG Paper isn't just about planting trees in their own forests, they also buy wood from other sources. But they're super picky about where that wood comes from. They have strict guidelines in place to make sure all their suppliers are following sustainable forestry practices too. It's like having a green shopping list. They only buy wood that comes from responsible sources. By owning vast forests, working with others, replanting trees, and keeping a watchful eye on their supply chain, OG Paper is a champion for sustainable forestry. They understand that healthy forests are crucial for the planet and for making awesome paper products. So the next time you hold a piece of OG Paper, remember, it came from a responsibly managed forest, thanks to OG Paper's dedication to keeping our trees happy and thriving. Conclusion. And there you have it. From carefully selecting trees to transforming them into the paper we use every day, OG Paper takes a thoughtful and sustainable approach throughout their entire process. But the story doesn't end here. Innovation is constantly evolving the paper industry, and OG Paper is at the forefront. So what exciting developments lie ahead? Will future paper be even more eco-friendly? Perhaps one day, our paper will come from entirely new, sustainable sources we can't even imagine yet. And with the increase in popularity of digital communication, do you think there will always be a place for physical paper? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like videos like this, then be sure to check out our channel for similar content. Until next time.